Hello, Slate with Combo of Rocks here, bringing you another video deck tech of a deck that we built and sold by request. If you're not familiar with us, we make and sell custom budget EDH decks. These decks are light on the budget, so they may not be optimal or competitive, but they're definitely fun and centered around an essential theme that you can build on. Today we have Sheoldred the Apocalypse, which is 2 black for a 4/5 legendary Phyrexian Praetor with Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So we want to draw cards and force our opponents to draw cards so that they lose life. The customer has a copy of this and Orcish Bowmaster. So 1 and a black for a 1/1 orc creature. Whenever it enters and whenever your opponent would draw a card except for the first one they draw on their draw steps, he deals a damage to any targets, and you amass orcs ones. So you create a 0/0 orc army and put a 1/1 counter on it. So this deck was built on a $200 budget, but let's get into the rest of the video deck tech. All right, so we have Teferi's Puzzle Box, 4 mana artifacts. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player puts the cards from their hand on the bottom of their library in any order, then draws that many cards, dealing them lots of damage or causing them to lose lots of life with our commander in play. Sizen, Perverter of Truth, 3 black for a legendary creature, Demon Spirit, 6/5. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards. Necropotence, 3 black enchantment. This is a game changer. Skip your draw step. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Pay a life, exile the top card of your library face down. Put that card in your hand at the beginning of the next end step. That's great in this deck as we're gaining life. We don't really care about the life loss. Bolas's Citadel, 3 and 3 black for a legendary artifact. Again, another game changer. Look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than its mana cost. Tap and sack 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. Cryptghast, 3 and a black for 2/2 spirits with Extort. So as you cast a spell, you can pay black or white hybrid, which is in the reminder text, so it doesn't break the commander color pie. If you do, each opponent loses life and you gain that much life. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add a black to your mana pool, so doubling our swamp mana. Withering Cursed, 1 black sorcery. All creatures get -2 until end of turn, but if you gain life, you destroy all creatures instead. Peer into the Abyss, 4 and 3 black sorcery. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time. This is like a big fireball in this deck, allowing our opponent to draw a bunch of cards and lose a bunch of life. Eldritch Pact, 6 black sorcery. Target player draws X cards and loses X life or X the number of cards in their graveyard. Again, same idea. Ominous Harvest, 2 and a black sorcery with Gravestorm. So you cast it, copy it for each permanent put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn. Target player draws a card and loses a life. Monumental Corruption, 3 black sorcery. Target player draws X cards and loses X life, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Damnable Pact, X black sorcery. Target player draws X cards and loses X life. Scheming Silvertongue, 1 black for a 1/3 vampire warlock with flying and lifelink. At the beginning of your second main phase, if you gain 2 or more life, which is easy in this deck, it becomes prepared. Then you can cast Sign in Blood, black sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. You can target yourself or target one of your opponents. Dread Presence, 3 and a black for a 3/3 nightmare. Whenever a swamp enters, choose 1. You draw a card and lose a life, or deals 2 damage to any target, and you gain 2 life. Master of the Feast, 1 black for a 5/5 enchantment creature demon with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card. Ob Nixilis Reignited, 3 black 5 loyalty. Nixilis, +1 draw a card, lose a life. 3, -3 destroys a creature. -8, target opponent gets an emblem. Whenever they draw a card, they lose 2 life. Ob Nixilis the Hate Twisted, 3 black 5 loyalty Nixilis. Whenever opponent draws a card, he deals 1 damage to that player. -2 destroys a creature, and then that creature's controller also draws 2 cards. Blood Gift Demon, 3 black for a 5/4 demon with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses a life. Defiling Demagoth, 3 black for a 5/4 demon with menace. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, gain a life. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life, or X amount of life you gain this turn. So if we draw a bunch of cards and gain a bunch of life, that'll be also a good way to get our opponents out of the game. Cruel Claws, Heist, black sorcery. Gift a card, so you can allow your opponent to draw a card. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card, exile that card. If the gift was promised, you may also cast that card as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. Construct a Cosmic Cube, 2 black for enchantment plan. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/1 black villain creature token with a menace and put a plan counter on the enchantment. When the 7th plan counter is put on it, sack it. When you do, you control target opponent during their next turn. Mutilates, 2 black sorcery. All creatures get -1 until end of turn for each swamp you control. Yahenni's Expertise, 2 black sorcery. All creatures get -3 until end of turn. You can cast a card in mana value 3 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. Languish, 2 black sorcery. All creatures get -4 until end of turn. Ilsidor's Fateful Strike, 2 black legendary instance. You can't cast it unless you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Destroys your creatures. Controller then chooses 4 cards in their hand, then exiles the rest of the cards in their hand. Just a good way, as we're forcing our opponents to draw cards, to get rid of cards in their hand. The Darkness Crystal, 2 black, legendary artifact, black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. If a non-token creature opponent controls would die, exile it, and you gain 2 life. 4 black, tap, put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield tapped under your control with 2 additional 1/1 counters on it. We also have Jet Medallion, 2 mana artifact, black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. The Fire Nation Drill, 2 black, 6/3 legendary artifact vehicle, trample. When it enters, you can tap it. If you do, destroy creature with power 4 or less. Pay 1 permanent to your opponent's control, lose hexproof destructible until end of turn with crew 2. Horn of Greed, 3 mana artifact. Whenever a player plays a land, that player also draws a card. Otherworldly Atlas, 4 mana artifact, tap and put a charge counter, or tap, each player draws a card for each charge counter on it. Panther Idol or Mind's Eye, 5 mana artifact, when an opponent draws a card, you can pay 1. If you do, you also draw a card. Scrawling Crawler, 3 mana 3/2 artifact creature Phyrexian Construct. On your upkeep, each player draws a card. When an opponent draws a card, they also lose a life. Psychosis Crawler, 5 mana star artifact creature Phyrexian Horror. Power and toughness are equal number of cards in your hand. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses a life. Coveted Jewel, 6 mana artifact. When it enters, draw 3 cards. Taps for 3 mana of any one color. Whenever one or more creatures an opponent control attack you and aren't blocked, that player draws 3 cards and gains control of it and untaps it, but we also want them to draw cards. Thought Vessel, 2 mana artifact. You have no max hand size and taps for colorless. Mind Stone, 2 mana artifact, taps for colorless. 1 tap and sack to draw a card. Arcane Signet, Soul Ring. Infernal Idol, 3 mana artifact, taps for black. 1 black, tap and sack it. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Ring of the Lucy, 4 mana legendary artifact, taps for 2 colorless. 2 tap, pay a life to tap a non-land permanent. Star Compass, 2 mana artifact, enters tapped. Tap it for a mana of any color a basic you control could produce, so black. Charcoal Diamond, 2 mana artifact, enters tapped, taps for black. Wayfarer's Bauble, 1 mana artifact, 2 tap and sack, search your library for basic land, put on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Herbie Scout Unit, 4 mana artifact creature robot scouts, 2/1 flying. When it enters, draw a card, then you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Ring of Zathri, 2 mana artifact equipment, pay 2 to regenerate the equipped creature. On your upkeep, if it's a black creature, it gets a +1/+1 counter with equip 1. Dampening Spear, 2 mana artifact. Whenever land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces colorless instead of any other type and amount. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that players cast this turn. So as we're forcing our opponents to draw cards, we're actually slowing them down with this. Dark Ritual, 1 black instant, add 3 black to your mana pool. Underworld Dreams, 3 black enchantment. When our opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to that player. Dimir Machinations, 2 black sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of target player's library. Remove any number of them from the game, then put the rest back in any order. It's got Transmute, 1 black, discarding it to find a card with a mana value of 3, such as Underworld Connections, or maybe Dark Deal. 2 and a black sorcery. Each player discards all the cards in their hand, then draws that many cards -1. Grim Servant, 3 and a black, zombie warlock. It's a 3/2 with menace. When it enters, search your library for a card with mana value less than or equal to your devotion to black, revealed, put in your hand, then shuffle, and lose 3 life. Just a nice tutor here that doesn't cost a lot of money. Sigmamancer, 4 and a black sorcery. You draw X cards and lose X life, where X is your devotion to black. Consuming Corruption, black instant, deals X damage to a creature or planeswalker. You gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. Exsanguinate, X black sorcery. Each opponent loses X life. You gain life equal to life lost this way. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, 3 black for a 2/4 zombie. When it enters, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to life lost this way. Greed, 3 and a black enchantment. Pay black, pay 2 life, and draw a card. Sign in Blood, 2 black sorcery. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Knight's Whisper, 1 and a black. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Necrologia, 3 black instant. You can cast this only during your end step. Additional cost to play. Pay any amount of life. Draw cards equal to life paid this way. Feed the Swarm, 1 and a black sorcery. Destroys a creature enchantment an opponent controls. You lose life equal to that permanent's mana value. Withering Torment, 2 black instant, destroys a creature enchantment. You lose 2 life. Clock of Predation, 2 and a black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a card with mana value 3 or greater. That player discards that card. On the backside, it can be a tapped black land. Soft Consumption, 4 black sorcery. Each opponent loses 4 life and you gain 4 life. Also on the backside can be a tapped black land. We have Spymaster's Vault, enters tapped unless you control a swamp. Taps for black tap. Target creature you control connives X, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. So to connive, you draw X cards, then discard X cards and put a 1/1 counter on target creature that connived for each card, a non-land card discarded this way. Midgar City of Mako is a land town, enters taps for black. It's got Sorcery Adventurers, Reactor Raid, 2 and a black, sack an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards. Polluted Mire, enters taps for black, cycles for 2 colors. Hidden Acropolis is a cave, enters taps for black, 4 black, tap and sack to discover 4. Myriad Landscape, enters taps for colors, 2 tap and sack, search for 2 basics that share basic land types, so swamp, they go into the battlefield tap, then shuffle. And Terrain Generator, taps for colors, 2 tap and put a basic land from your hand into play tapped. Speaking of basics, we have a bunch here. Swamps, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed it, but we'll see you for the next deck video.